Hey, welcome back. Long time, guys. Yeah, sorry, I was on vacation. I was out of town seeing my dad. It was his birthday over the weekend, so I went back to the homeland, went back to Michigan, and to hang out with him. And a lot of stuff in my life happened, a lot of crazy stuff, and a lot of stuff going on with Hydra. Now that I'm back, we got everything, all the details. I do apologize, I haven't been putting out videos, but I was gone, and here we are. So let's just kind of take a look here. This is actually some very meta shaking changes that they're bringing to Hydra, and I just kind of want to get into them here quick. I have the quick breakdowns here, and as you can imagine, the community is pretty pissed about this, and I want to say this up front, and outright. I'm going to tell you this right now that this is a good thing for the dungeon. This is actually a good thing, and people already they're clicking off, they're downvoting this. But I want to kind of compare this, okay? Um, I've been playing games for 30 years, right? I'm in my mid 30s, and I've been playing Magic the Gathering for a long time. As some of you may know, I've done a little bit of content on that, not much. I haven't really broke into it because I don't know. Raid's just easier to do for me. But I want to kind of compare what's happening in Hydra to what actually just happened in Magic for Commander slash EDH. I still say EDH. I hate saying Commander. But they did a ban list in Commander. They banned 4 cards. 3 of them were high money cards. One of them was a nothing card. It had already gotten banned in Modern because it was broken and it was cheap. It was a rare and it just came out. The other 3, one of them has been printed twice. The other one's I think been printed twice, and then the other one had been printed a multiple couple times, but nothing crazy, right? So Mana Crypt, Jeweled Lotus, and Dockside Extortionist. These cards together over $300, easy over $300. Okay, Nadu was like a $3 card, not even. They banned Dockside Extortionist, that was $80. They banned Jeweled Lotus, that was over 120, and then Mana Crypt again was over 120. Okay. They banned these cards. They're doing it to shake up the format, but also because are they're oppressive. Okay. They're not fun to play against. Personally, I don't think they should have been banned. I think maybe Nadu deserved to get banned. He's pretty broken. But Dockside Extortionist, Jeweled Lotus, and Mana Crypt, these 3 cards fundamentally are really played in like competitive EDH and whatever they call them, Johnnies or something, Chet Hanks. I don't know. These guys that are very competitive, even in casual circles. I feel that like Magic itself, and we're gonna get to Raid here in a minute, so just hear me out on this analogy. Magic itself will, in a play group, trust me, you will force people out and they will stop playing certain cards because people don't want to play with them. And you can't play Magic by yourself. You can play Raid kind of by yourself, but not so much because it really is a clan game where you're with your clan and you're doing things and you're working together to achieve a greater goal. And that's what actually puts a lot of stress on the players because if you aren't fundamentally up to the task and the bar that is set by your clan, then there are negative consequences and repercussions to a game. Now, sadly, this is a gambling game. Don't get it twisted. Now, I've told you guys many times about how this is actually a gambling game. Every time I do a shard opening video for souls or shards or what have you, I in the beginning will put my disclaimer about how this is a gambling game. You have to pay to play, essentially. Now, there are tons of people out there that do free to play stuff. 100%. You can do this game 110%. You can do it free to play. You will not, though, compare to people who spend. All right. I had a guy comment on one of my videos a couple weeks ago, and he said, "Why are you even opening shards? You have 29 million player power." And he's right. He's right. But you know what? I like the game. I love the game. I want to keep getting shards. And I got guys that aren't done, and there's new champions always to get that are better. Power creep's a real thing. Now, comparing this to Hydra, like I said, what has happened here is actually fundamentally a good thing. The 2 teams that were the most oppressive in Hydra, just like with the Cadaver teams, because those teams got out of control. The first team was Yannicka and Wixwell and Emic. Okay, that's essentially your core of the team, and then you have buff extenders. Okay, then you have Trunda teams, which is usually double Yumiko, Trunda, Shuzen. Some people ran, but you would have Lydia, 2 Yumikos, Gerptuk, and Lanicus. This is the team I ran. All right, and I for about maybe a month I was able to put up big damage because I finally figured it out and I had it going. I had the team, like I had all the supports that produced buffs and protection. I had Trunda in my best damage gear, and it's fucking good gear. And I didn't get her 6-star though. That's a little bit of a caveat on this. I didn't get her 6-star, but I did invest into the team. And if anybody knows how much money I've spent on the game, which nobody other than me truly knows, it's been a lot over the last 5 years. This has been essentially been my main hobby. And a lot of people are getting upset because all the money, time, and investment they've put into Trunda, Wix. I'm not even going to get into Wixwell and Yannicka, guys, and Emic, because those were 3 free champions. Yannicka's a fragment, Wixwell was a fusion, Emic was a fusion. Okay? Those were essentially free champions. Nobody really was pulling to get Emic out of voids. Nobody was pulling to get Wixwell out of regular shards or Yannicka. They were free champions. And that team, in comparison to Trunda, is nothing. But you did put up giant damage if you couldn't put up Nightmare and Brutal Trunda teams. And I was actually on my way to making a Brutal team for my Trunda team. I was very close. And this actually kind of gives me a little bit of relief because now I don't have to stress and put that much time and effort into it. But these teams are so impressive that is all Hydra Clash is about. That's all it is. Which clan has the most Trunda teams was going to win, hands down. Even players that couldn't do hard, brutal, or nightmare could still do normal Hydra. And normal Hydra with the Trunda team still puts up billions of damage, okay? So I know this is taking a while, but I'm wanting to say that this is a good thing, all right? Hydra is probably the least played game mode other than Ice Golem, I think, in the entire game. Actually, that I can even go further. Hydra probably is the least engaged with mechanic other than even the potion keeps, right? Because after a while, you don't even need potion keeps, you know? But yeah, it's just my 2 cents. Like, Hydra was so unfun and oppressive because of Clash. Players weren't getting rewards. They're just not really helping with their clan, because then you have clans that split because people want to do Hydra and people don't want to do Hydra, and it's for the same reason. Like, people want to do really good at it, the other ones they could care less because it makes the game unfun. And I'll give you an example. Every week I devote probably 5 to 6 hours to Hydra because I'm redoing keys, trying to get the best possible outcome, because I have a billion damage team, probably not anymore after the nerfs, a billion damage team for Nightmare, and I had a 1.2 billion damage team for Brutal. Those were not Trunda teams also, or Wixwell, by the way. Those were just good champions and good team synergy. And then for hard, I had a Trunda team that would put up fucking 60 billion points. I'd get it up to like 29 billion, 30 billion damage, and you got double on hard, so I get 60 billion points for our Hydra team for the clan. And I'm not gonna lie, the last couple weeks I've been stressed out because I don't want to do it because it doesn't make the game fun. I want to just jump in, talk to my clanmates, make some memes, have a good time. Look, the siege is really the focus right now of clans that are endgame. And you know, we've only lost 2, you know. But yeah, this is actually a great thing because it's going to promote team diversity in Hydra. There are champions that are made for Hydra that never see play because they have better options. And I've actually run into this in the last 6 months where I have this champion that I used to use for Hydra all the time, and they are absolutely one of the best in the position for Hydra, but they don't compare to the other champions. So this is actually going to help promote diversity in Hydra, okay? And it also, with what I'm going to read off here, this is going to help reduce time in Hydra, okay? Depending on whether or not you want to redo your key or not. But I'll put a bracket here for rant on why this is a good thing, and then we'll just get into it, okay? So the first thing, we have the befores on the left, we have the afters on the right. You know how we do it. Before, Hydra turn limit was 1,500 turns. That will not be the case anymore. Hydra turn limit is now going to be decreased to 1,000, and the game gives you a warning on 750 turns. And then Mark of the Hydra. Marks one champion who will be affected by Devour, okay? And it cannot be blocked or resisted, and it cannot be ignored by Veil, Perfect Veil, or anything. The Mark of the Hydra is placed irrespective of the number of debuffs on the champion. If a champion has a taunt buff, the mark of the Hydra can only be placed on that champion if one champion has a taunt buff and another has the mark of the Hydra. Blah blah blah. So essentially, what the before was, you would put taunt on, who like Emic Trunkar. Emic would have taunt, and then your damage dealers would never be devoured. And as long as you keep 100% uptime on taunt, you were fine, right? That is not the case anymore. The only thing that has changed in this is the devouring skill will ignore taunt now. Now, this is the only thing I don't agree with in this entirety of the changes that they're making. And I actually do hope that they reverse this, because this is just a non-bow when it comes to synergy in the game. Taunt is specifically made to essentially counter this effect of Hydra. It's a counter single target damage dealers, which even now, it's just Rotos, really. Maybe Nice, in Arena. But Taunt, I don't know, we'll see use outside of anything other than Arena at this point. And even then, But that's what they changed. I don't agree with it. I think this is the only thing I don't agree with, okay? And then threat escalation. Each subsequent time a champion is marked, the countdown until devouring decreases by a turn to a minimum of 2 turns. Each subsequent time a champion is devoured, the digestion countdown decreases by a turn to a minimum of 2 turns. This has been changed to also include each subsequent time a champion is devoured, after the minimum digestion countdown of 2 turns is reached, the amount of damage required to free a devoured champion increases. I also don't agree with this either. They are artificially inflating the scale of how hard Hydra can be, the difficulty. They're artificially inflating the difficulty, and I don't agree with it. Okay. This obviously is going to make the Hydra, it'll make the runs faster, because honestly I think a lot of people are just going to give up and just be like, all right, that's the best key I got. I'm not going to sit here and piss with this for hours on end, which is what I was doing for a long time. So there's that for the first page of stuff. Second page, Hydra changes again. Decapitation. This essentially will very much make Trunda, she will exist in Hydra, and she'll still be good after we get, because she is getting a rework, and it is included in this. But essentially this is really fucking her over. But we'll talk about the after, including its own HP bar equal to the combined HP of 2 Hydra heads. So once a Hydra head's HP hits 0, it will be decapitated and become an exposed neck with an entirely new set of skills and mechanics, including its own HP, equal to the combined HP of 2 Hydra heads. So this is to stop Trunda's A2 from rippling and doing a rippling effect across everything, okay? And then a new random Hydra head will grow out of the exposed neck, and after 2 turns, or if the exposed neck is killed. So apparently we're going to have to kill necks twice now, which is, I don't know, kind of weird. It's really giving me the vibe of Hercules, the cartoon from Disney, when he's cutting Hydra heads off. If all heads have been decapitated, the next respawn will see 2 heads join the battle. Places decapitated on the exposed neck for 2 turns or until exposed neck is killed. Receives tripled damage from enemy attacks while in a decapitated state. When the 2 turns are over, or if the exposed neck is killed, a new head will grow from it. And Serpent's Will is what the big thing that's going to stop this. So it's not this, I'm sorry, it's going to be down here. The Serpent Will buff reduces damage taken by 100%. Not 75 anymore, 100. So they are immune to damage until they take their first turn. If it starts working once the head is transformed into a new head and is active until the new head makes its first move. If 2 new Hydra heads appear on the same turn or get killed at the same time, only one will receive the Serpent's Will. This buff can't be removed, stolen, or spread. Also, its duration cannot be increased or decreased. So, I mean, there is a little bit of a handoff here where only one of the heads will have the Serpent's Will buff. Which kind of makes you feel like you need to kill them at the same time to reduce the fuckery that's going to happen. But we'll see. Okay? And then here, shields are being changed. And what is being changed, essentially, shield buffs have a maximum cap now of 1,000,000 HP, meaning a champion can't have a shield that exceeds this value under any circumstances. So this is also to stop the Yannicka teams from blowing shit up. Also here, shield buffs provided by champion skills and artifact sets both have their own individual cap. That means that while neither type of shield can exceed the set limit of 1,000,000, they can stack up to a value of 2 million. The shield cap is designed to prevent certain champions combinations from becoming a game-breaking. However, they will still perform extremely well in clan boss battles. So changing the shield is right here is to screw over the Yannicka team. So if you don't know, the whole Yannicka team for Hydra was you build a shield up and you extend it and everything and grow it with Wixwell. And then Yannicka, the Head of Mischief, would steal the shield buff. And then when he did that and then he spread it, Yannicka's ability would blow it up, decapitate all the heads, and that would be your run. That'd be your damage because you're done after that. And you would build it up in about 45 minutes. You can even do it on almost full auto. You just have to target, okay? But yeah, this is what this is doing here. And then Trunda, she is being changed. Okay. Trunda Guilt Mallet. Before, attacks one enemy 2 times, 50% chance of placing stun for a turn after the second hit. Alright, after, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Okay? So, yeah, okay. That's just increasing your chance of placing a stun in the A1. Her A2 now attacks an enemy before, then attacks all their enemies with the second hit, dealing 6% of the damage inflicted from the first hit. This is really fucking her over as well. After, because they're changing her into Dracomorph. Dracomorph got fucked over on that. Like, Dracomorph used to be really dog shit, and then they buffed him, but then I think it's his A1, which if he kills somebody with his A1, the surplus damage goes to somebody else, but it can't crit, is essentially what's happening now to Trunda. But they're adding this. So she will attack an enemy, attacks all enemies 6% of the damage inflicted from the first hit, and will now ignore 50% of the target's defense. Only the second hit of the skill will ignore 50% of the target's defense, and the second hit is always normal, so it cannot crit. Okay? And then her A3 Forge Rhythm, I wonder if this also... This is essentially to combat Stone Skin, so I actually do agree with this. So what you would do with Trunda is you would make sure she didn't have accuracy because you didn't want her to land a stun on her A3. If she didn't land a stun on her A3, she would hit twice, and that was how you nuked people in Arena back in the day. She used to be the best Arena nuker. Now, she will attack all enemies, 70% chance of placing stun for a turn. She will also place HP burn for 2 turns, and then places an extra hit on enemies not under stun debuffs. So that's still the same. But both hits of this skill deal 50% more damage to a Stone Skin shield. So if you do have Trunda and you did build her up, take her out of Crushing Rend, I think, and you're gonna need to put her into Cracked Roots, which is the 4th blessing slot. And then her passive, before this champion's resistance increases by 10 for each stun the champion places on an enemy, stacks across each round in a battle up to 100. Really, you don't build Trunda with resistance. This was just kind of a fucking non-bow back in the day. It actually kind of did matter because not a lot of people were building accuracy that much when the game first came out. But then we found out speed is king, and then accuracy and resistance and all that jazz, depending on the champion, really. But speed is always king. This champion's speed increases by 5 for each enemy currently under HP burn. Only counts active HP burn debuffs. Stacks up to 15. And now after, instead of resistance, this is now going to increase her attack by 10% for each stun or HP burn. This champion places on enemies. Stacks up to 50% per round. So Hydra doesn't change rounds. You're just always going to be there, right? This champion's speed increases by 5 for each enemy currently under HP burn or stun. Stacks up to 15 and only counts active HP burns or stun debuffs. Interesting. Very interesting. I think all in all, it is a very good thing that is happening to Hydra. But please leave comments down below and let me know how you feel. I feel a lot of people are just going to be like, this is bullshit. They fucked us over. I spent a ton of money on this team and effort and time. But the thing is, just like what happened with Cadaver, we didn't think they would do this to Trunda, to the Trunda teams, because the teams are so hard to put together because you need, 3 Void Legendaries, still one of the best magic nukers in the game. I mean, she's definitely in top 5, probably top 10. Legendaries, not mythics, obviously. And then, you needed the Yumikos, you needed the Lydia, you needed Griptuck, who is a fusion, you need the Lanicus, who you can get out of the coin exchange. Or I've seen people use White Dryad Nia, they use like 2 of them. I've seen it, I've seen it. But yeah, that's gone. And this will all start on the 16th when we get our new rotation, which is going to be next Wednesday. So right now, my clan currently we are throwing Hydra Clash because we're up against 4 other like 200 plus billion clan damage teams, and they are definitely putting in the hard work right now to they're trying to win, and we are hopefully going to get a better matchup come the changes next week. So that is going to be it for this video. Let me know what you think. Like I said, put it in the comments down below. I would love to talk to you. So I do appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. We're going to do a couple more videos coming out over the next couple days. I'm recording them tonight, so here we are. All right, bye-bye, guys. Bye.